growing up in a small town. There wasn't much to do during the winter except find your own fun. For me and my friends, that usually meant skating on the frozen ponds around town. We all knew it wasn't the safest thing to do. But when you're a teenager, you think you're invincible. That night started like any other. It was late, probably close to 10 p.m., and my friend Luke called me up, asking if I wanted to head out to Hollow Pond. It was a spot tucked away at the edge of town, surrounded by trees, and it froze solid every winter. Most kids went there during the day, but skating at night was always quieter, and the place had an eerie charm to it. I grabbed my skates and flashlight, bundled up, and biked to the pond to meet Luke. When I got there, Luke was already on the ice, gliding around under the dim light of the moon. There were no streetlights, no houses nearby. Just the two of us and the quiet, open expanse of frozen water. We skated for a while, joking around and racing each other. The cold air stung my face, and every sound seemed amplified in the stillness. The ice groaned occasionally under our weight, but that was normal. At least, it should have been. At one point, Luke said he was going to head to the edge of the pond for a quick smoke. I stayed on the ice, enjoying the solitude. That's when I noticed it, the movement under the ice. At first, I thought it was just a shadow, something from the trees swaying in the wind. But when I skated closer, I realized it wasn't a shadow at all. Something was moving under the ice. It was faint, just a dark blur gliding beneath the surface. I told myself it was probably a fish or maybe some trapped debris. But as I kept watching, it became clear this wasn't anything natural. The shape was large, at least the size of a person, and it moved in a way that was deliberate. Not like an animal. It almost looked like it was swimming. But the more I watched, the more I noticed how wrong its movements were. It was humanoid but twisted, its limbs too long and its body slightly hunched. I froze, staring down at the ice as the thing moved closer. My breath fogged up the air and my heart started pounding in my chest. "Luke," I called out, my voice shaky. No answer. He was too far at the edge to hear me. I started to back away, my skates scraping lightly against the ice. That's when I heard it. A faint, cracking sound, sharp and sudden, coming from right beneath me. The thing under the ice stopped. It was directly below me now, its dark shape almost pressed against the underside of the frozen surface. I could see its head tilt upward, as if it was looking at me. And then it moved, fast. I didn't think. I just started skating toward the shore as fast as I could. The ice groaned loudly, and the cracks seemed to follow me, spreading out like veins beneath my feet. I could feel the vibrations beneath me, the sound of splintering ice getting louder with every second. "Luke," I screamed, my voice echoing across the pond. He turned just as I reached the edge, his face pale with confusion. "What's wrong?" "Get off the ice," I yelled, grabbing his arm and pulling him toward the trees. We didn't stop running until we were deep into the woods, far from the pond. I turned back once, just in time to see the ice near the center shatter completely, sending shards flying into the air. The thing didn't come out. It just disappeared into the dark, icy water. Luke kept asking me what had happened, but I couldn't bring myself to explain. How could I? It sounded insane. The morning after the next day, I biked back to the pond, unable to shake the events of the night before. The surface had frozen over again, smooth and untouched, like nothing had ever happened. But as I stood at the edge, staring at the center of the ice, I noticed something strange. Embedded just beneath the surface were deep, claw-like marks, as if something had tried to break through from below. I never went back to Hollow Pond again. Even now, years later, I still think about that night. Whatever was under the ice wasn't something I can explain. It wasn't a fish, and it definitely wasn't human. I've heard local legends about the pond, stories about drownings and strange sightings, but I never believed them, at least not until that night. I don't know what would have happened if the ice had broken beneath me, but I'm glad I didn't stick around to find out. If you ever find yourself skating on a frozen pond late at night, pay attention to what's beneath you. Some things are meant to stay hidden in the dark.